Hello guys, it's the long-awaited return of the Retro Review. This is the only video series where I review each and every Coliseum home video voted by you, the viewing audience. Now, of course, whichever video you guys vote from the three candidates will win the right to be reviewed. And of course, these videos, you just can't go find them anywhere like FYE or Best Buy anymore. The only way you could get these is off eBay and Amazon, just to name a couple of different places that you can find these out-of-print video tapes. In 1985, after the success of the first WrestleMania, Vince McMahon and NBC executive producer Dick Ebersol thought it would be a great idea to have wrestling on network television. The result, Saturday night's Main Event. Today, this Retro Review is Saturday night's Main Event, The Greatest Hits. There you go. So yes, today the video or the review is Saturday night's Main Event, The Greatest Hits. Now this is a very, how can I put this? Different video. Because every video up to this point that I have done, that I have reviewed with you, or for you guys, there's been a consistent host, and that individual, or individuals, has gone through the entire video. Here, this is a bit of a change. Now, we start the video off with Mean Gene Okerlund inside the empty Meadowlands Arena, where apparently WWF action is going to take place on that particular occasion. So he talks about how not too long ago, Saturday night's Main Event was held right there in the Meadowlands. And we would see such stars on this tape as Hulk Hogan, Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, and Roddy Piper. Wrong. Sorry. Now, I hope you guys have your frequent flyer miles ready, because we're going to be flying literally all over the U.S. for this videotape. So, we start off at the Meadowlands with our first match, a WWF Championship defense by Hulk Hogan against Nikolai Volkov in a flag match. Now, for those of you that have been a subscriber to my YouTube page for God knows how long now, you probably need a life, I actually reviewed this match on the second ever review of Saturday night's Main Event, their second episode. But I will do another review of this match right now. And, it's very interesting because Hogan doesn't come out to Eye of the Tiger. He doesn't come out to Real American. He's coming out to Star Spangled Banner. I understand why. It's a flag match. But Nikolai Volkov goes right on the offense, goes right after Hulk Hogan. And this is a decent match. For a championship match, and Nikolai Volkov being, one of the big heels back in the 80s, and to think that this is probably the only documented footage of Nikolai Volkov ever getting a championship match, during the Hulk Hogan run, is a little bit shocking. But it's a like I said, it's a decent match. It goes back and forth. They're in the ring. They go out of the ring for a little bit. They actually fight on the timekeeper's table for a little bit before Volkov sends Hogan into the post. And then Volkov hits and he shows his strength, because Hogan is 302 at the time. Volkov's about a good 313, and we're not talking about 313 of fat. We're talking about 313 of muscle. And he hoists Hogan up and to hit with a backbreaker, but he only gets a 2 count. So the match still goes, it's back and forth, and then at the end, Hogan hulks up, he punches Volkov, and he tries to send Volkov into the corner, but Volkov reverses. Volkov tries for a move, Hogan misses, Volkov goes down, Hogan hits a leg drop, 1, 2, 3, Hogan wins, retains the title. And now, for the rest of the way, Howard Finkel, the Fink, will be narrating our videotape. Because next up, it's to Providence, Rhode Island with, according to Howard Finkel, Hulk Hogan and friends. Does that sound like a special to you? No. But the matchup is a tag team match. Hulk Hogan and the Junkyard Dog against Terry Funk and Dory Funk, or Hoss Funk, depending on what you want to call him. Now, the Funks are managed by Jimmy Hart. Here, Hulk Hogan and the Junkyard Dog have the Haiti Kid in their corner. The little wrestler, the Haiti Kid in their corner. Hogan comes out with the Junkyard Dog's dog chain around him. Junkyard Dog comes out with Hulk Hogan's t-shirt on. Now, for this match, Bobby Heenan is commentating with Vince McMahon. There are only 6 matches. Of the 6, 2 of them are McMahon and Heenan. The other 4 are McMahon and Ventura, the famous pairing for Saturday night's main event. You'll find out a little bit later on in this review which other match Heenan commentates on. But, this crowd is so amped, so pumped up for this. Hulk Hogan coming in, and I mean, there must have been at least 8 to 10 security guards walking side by side with Hogan, Haiti Kid, and Junkyard Dog, even though you can't see Haiti Kid. But this is an okay match. I think what ruins it for me, and this may surprise a lot of you if you know me really well, is Bobby Heenan's commentating. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Bobby Heenan. I love Bobby Heenan to death. But his commentating here, for some reason, is just not that good. He's always angry. He's always mad. Sometimes he's screaming. I don't get it. But I'm not going to focus my entire point on that. But like I said, this match is okay. Dog and Hogan, they have the advantage. A couple of times the Funks and Jimmy Hart would try to get the Haiti Kid, but couldn't. Excuse me. And then, at one point, when Hulk Hogan and the Junkyard Dog had the Funks out on the floor, Haiti Kid climbs up to, I believe it's the bottom rope. Jimmy Hart gets up on the apron, and he hits the Haiti Kid with the branding iron that Terry Funk always carries, and knocks the Haiti Kid out. Hogan chases Jimmy Hart, and Jimmy Hart crawls through every person that's at the timekeeper's table. I mean, everybody. It's hilarious to watch, but it's pretty cool. And then as the Junkyard Dog is taking Haiti Kid to the back, Terry Funk kicks Haiti Kid right in the head, which, I gotta admit, it is sort of funny. But the end of the match, Hogan comes in from a tag, knocks down Dory Funk, knocks down Terry Funk, hits the leg drop on Dory Funk, gets the 3 count. Hulk Hogan and the Junkyard Dog get the win. A melee goes on after the match. Haiti Kid does come back out during the match, and Terry Funk's going to brand the Haiti Kid, but Hulk Hogan pulls Jimmy Hart, who's holding the Haiti Kid, and Terry Funk misses. Haiti Kid runs to the back, and then Jimmy Jack Funk comes out, and it's a 4-on-2, and nothing happens. Now we go on to Detroit, Michigan for this tale of Beauty and the Beast. Yes, that's how I was told. Next match is Macho Man Randy Savage against George the Animal Steele. Now, this is very interesting because this episode of Saturday Night's Main Event is 2 weeks before WrestleMania 3. So, the Intercontinental title is on the line in this match. Also on the line is Elizabeth. They take us back to the previous episode of Saturday Night's Main Event back in January when Ricky the Dragon Steamboat made his return. George Steele throws Randy Savage over the top of the floor, and then George Steele, quote-unquote, kidnaps Elizabeth. So, we get an interview. Mean Gene is in the back with Elizabeth and Randy Savage, and, Randy Savage is like, "Oh, are you scared to talk to me? You gonna talk to Elizabeth first? Not today." And Elizabeth, Savage cuts his promo, and he tells Elizabeth to come with him to the ring, and Mean Gene is like, "Oh, hold on a minute, Randy. Not tonight. There are rules. She's gonna go out last." And Savage is like, "Well, rules were made to be broken, yeah." So Randy Savage comes out by himself for this match. So we go to the back again where Mean Gene and Elizabeth are talking, and Mean Gene's like, "You look ravishing tonight." And, Elizabeth's got a little smile, and here comes George Steele. "Elizabeth! Manager! Elizabeth! Manager! George's manager!" And Mean Gene's like, "Oh, no, not yet, George, not yet. You have to win her first tonight in this match." "Bye-bye!" And off goes George Steele. He goes out to the ring. And then, after George's entrance, oh my gosh, this is just too funny. BG almost gives like this speech of, "I know that you're nervous, but the entire hopes and faith of the country is behind you, Elizabeth, through this difficult time. You were in a coin toss. Heads you lose, tails you lose." And then as Elizabeth leaves, Mean Gene looks at her. And then Jesse points it out right away. He's like, "Did you see that little bald-headed pervert looking at Elizabeth as she was leaving to go to the ring, McMahon?" Oh my God, that was hilarious. It was hilarious. So, Elizabeth, instead of being in a neutral corner, she has to sit in like a lifeguard's chair. I'm not kidding. Look it up. She is sitting in a lifeguard's chair. And even before she sits down, George Steele comes out to the ring, tries to talk to Elizabeth or get Elizabeth down. Randy Savage climbs the top rope, hits a double axe handle on Steele. Savage then takes Elizabeth, tries to go to the back without having the match happening, and then here pops out Ricky Steamboat, jumping from somewhere, blocking Randy Savage and Elizabeth, and forcing Savage to go back, and Elizabeth goes back to her lifeguard chair. And then as soon as Savage is in the ring, George Steele, just starts going after Savage, beats him up, grabs him in a headlock, hits him into the turnbuckle many times, and then George Steele goes after the stuffing in the turnbuckle, and then, basically for the most part, George Steele has control of this match until the end of the match, when he goes to the outside, again gets distracted by Elizabeth, and Savage goes after him, double axe handle, knocks him out, pushes the chair onto Steele. Savage gets back in the ring, beats the count. Randy Savage wins, retains the Intercontinental title, and Elizabeth stays with the Macho Man. After the match, Steele goes after Savage and has his belt and looks at a poster of Elizabeth. And then, I'll do my Howard Finkel voice, and then it's back to New England for the most ultimate steel cage match. And I think you guys know where I'm going with this the first episode of Saturday Night's Main Event of 1987, Hulk Hogan and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, the steel cage match for the WWF title. So they actually show McMahon and Ventura with their introduction. Ventura saying that Orndorff's going to win the title tonight, and then McMahon brings up the point of there's a rumor that Heenan has bought an insurance policy on the title. So we go to the back. Mean Gene is with Bobby Heenan and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and Oakland asks him straight up, did you in fact buy insurance for the title if Mr. Wonderful wins the match? And Heenan says, absolutely he did. He absolutely bought insurance. Excuse me, because he knows that Orndorff is going to win this match. So they go out, and Orndorff comes out to Real American, Hulk Hogan's theme. Well, behind Orndorff is Danny Davis, the referee. Now, Joey Marella is the referee already outside of the steel cage, and Ventura is like, well, apparently there's going to be 2 referees in there, McMahon. I like this. There's going to be no controversy. It's going to be a clear-cut winner. So we go to the back. Hulk Hogan is interviewed. Mean Gene brings up, Long and Winding Road, as the Beatles once sang, and Hogan's like, it has been a long and winding road, brother. See, Mr. Wonderful, you haven't seen the bad side of Hulk Hogan. And then Okerlund's like, well, why didn't you settle this 6 months ago? That's a bad question to ask. It's the main... Anyway. So Hogan comes out to Real American, his theme. And he goes up the cage for his entrance instead of through the door. And as soon as he climbs down, Orndorff is there, and we start the match. Good back and forth match. Orndorff a couple of times tries to get out of the cage. Davis is there to open the door. Like, Marella never gets a chance at first to open the door. Danny Davis, unlocks the cage door, opens it. And then the one time that Hogan tries to get out of the cage, it's a combination of Heenan and Davis blocking Joey Marella's way for him to unlock the cage door. And Ventura is like, see there, McMahon? Marella was opening the door slowly. If it had been Davis, he would have opened it faster. And then we get to this is the best part of the match. The first ending. Hogan goes over the top of the cage. Orndorff goes over the top of the cage. Both men are climbing down. And then they both jump and their feet hit. Or Hogan wins the match. No. Orndorff wins the match. Danny Davis says that Mr. Wonderful's won the match. He's the new champion. Well, Joey Marella comes over, talks to Davis. Davis pushes Marella down. Hogan comes over. He talks to Danny Davis, grabs Davis. Orndorff runs around the ring and knees Hogan, and in the process knocks Danny Davis down. Orndorff attacks him. Joey Marella gets back up, goes to the ring announcer, and they announce that the match is a tie. And McMahon's like, no way that a championship match is going to end in a tie. See, not so sure there would be a clear-cut winner. However, they do say that this match is going to restart right now. So, Orndorff grabs Hogan, takes him into the cage. Orndorff then climbs back in through the door into the top row. Now here, from an announcer's point of view, and I'm not going to get on this today. This will be another day. This is good commentating right here, what I'm about to point out. McMahon says, okay, Orton's on the top row. Why doesn't Orndorff? Orndorff's on the top row. Why doesn't Orndorff get out of the cage and win the match? Ventura explains that Orndorff has to have both feet in the ring before he can attempt to go out of the cage. Very good commentating. Very good explanation there. So, Orndorff does get his feet into the ring, and he can attempt, but can't make it out. Hogan hulks up, hits the leg drop on Orndorff. Heenan gets into the cage. Heenan gets trouble for going in, gets sent through the cage, or gets sent into the cage. Orndorff gets sent into the cage again. Hogan climbs up, over, out. Hogan wins the cage match, retains the title in a very good steel cage match. This is one of the better steel cage matches where it's a combination of two things. Number one, it's the end of a rivalry. You know this feud will end, no doubt. And number two, little to no blood in this match. I mean, yeah, there may have been a little bit coming from Orndorff, but it really wasn't that much. So Hogan celebrates, and McMahon and Ventura are still talking about the first ending where both feet hit the floor. Ventura is saying that Orndorff's feet hit first. He won. He's the champ. Well, we don't know. So now we go to the back where Heenan and Orndorff are talking. Orndorff is saying that he's the champion, and Heenan's like, "Don't worry, I've got this. It's all on tape. I'm going to take it to Jack Tunney. I'm going to show him the tape, and within a month, not even a month, you're going to be champion of the world." And then the best line is, "Have I ever lied to you?" Well, if you check out Wrestling's Most Embarrassing Moments, there may lie a different answer to that question. So Mean Gene comes in to the locker room, and Orndorff's about ready to fight Okerlund. And Heenan breaks it up, and he says to Okerlund, "Look, I'm going to take the tape, I'm going to take it to Jack Tunney, I'm going to view it to him, and I'm going to show him that Orndorff's feet hit the floor first. He's the champion." And then, after that, McMahon says, "Well, we have the official tape, and we're going to look at it one more time, and we're going to see whose feet really hit the floor first." And they show, and, it really is a dead heat. And then Ventura is like, "Oh, this tape is cut up more than the Nixon Watergate case." And McMahon's like, "You're impossible to work for." I bet that's how he really felt. Anyway, we're now going to go across the country to Seattle, Washington. Boy, those frequent flyer miles, if you got them, they're really working out. For this next match, Bam Bam Bigelow against Hercules. On paper, this is an interesting match. On paper. Because Hercules is a muscular guy, one of the strongest men. Bam Bam Bigelow is a combination of a big guy, but also at the same time a very agile guy. This is a weird match. It really is, because at first they fight, and at one point we see Brian Bosworth of the Seattle Seahawks, and Ventura is like, "Sit down, Bosworth. You don't want to get into this. I'll come down and sign autographs for you. He's a big fan of mine, McMahon." And then we get the funniest line of this entire tape. Hercules attempts 3 clotheslines on Bigelow. The third one has Bigelow go over the top rope onto the floor. And McMahon's like, "Oh my God, he went over the top. We might never see Bigelow again." Really? We might never see the guy again? Well, anyway, both men fight on the floor, and the match ends in a double countout. Both men got counted out. They never paid attention to the count. But Bigelow grabs the mic and says, "No, I did not come to Seattle, Washington for a draw. I came to have a winner and a loser. And I want this match to start now." to which Hercules agrees to, and this match starts up again. And this starts off with sort of a football battle. They 3-point stands, they set up, they run into each other, see who's going to fall down, and nothing really happens. So, they fight for a little bit. Hercules eventually gets an advantage, and in the end of the match, Hercules climbs the top rope. I don't think I've ever seen Hercules, or I ever remember Hercules climbing the top rope. He climbs up, Bigelow catches him, throws him down, Bigelow goes out, does the slingshot splash on the Hercules, 1, 2, 3, bam, bam, Bigelow gets the win. And then we're going to fly back across the country to Hershey, Pennsylvania for our final match. Macho Man Randy Savage challenging the Honky Tonk Man for the Intercontinental title. Here, again, Bobby Heenan is on commentary with Vince McMahon. Heenan is so much better on this match than he was on the tag match earlier on the tape. He is so much better. It's like comparing two different days. This day, he must have been pissed off, felt crappy, didn't really care. This day, he was on fire. He was on the ball. He was Bobby Heenan at his best on commentary. This is a good match. Many times, Jimmy Hart gets involved in the match. And throughout the match, Bobby Heenan saying, "Look, Elizabeth has a crush on the Honky Tonk Man. You could tell in her eyes. You could tell in her eyes." And, obviously she doesn't, but it's very good storytelling here. And then Jimmy Hart interferes one too many times. Savage grabs him. Savage knocks Jimmy Hart out. Well, here comes the Hart Foundation to check up on Jimmy Hart. Honky Tonk Man comes out to check on him. And they all go to the back. Hart Foundation comes back out to be in the corner of the Honky Tonk Man. So Honky Tonk Man does eventually get an advantage in this match. Towards the end, he tries the shake, rattle, and roll. Honky Tonk Man tries. Randy Savage reverses it. Savage then goes to the top rope, hits the elbow drop. 1, 2... Bret Hart comes in and attacks Randy Savage, ends the match. Honky Tonk Man is disqualified. Randy Savage wins. Honky Tonk Man retains the title. So it's a 3-on-1 beatdown on Savage. Excuse me. And then Honky Tonk Man grabs the guitar. And he's about ready to hit Savage with the guitar. I mean, he's about ready. And then all of a sudden, Elizabeth gets in the way of Honky Tonk Man and Randy Savage, and the crowd is cheering. And, she's begging her. You can't really hear what she's saying, but Honky Tonk Man's telling her, get out of the way, move out of the way. And eventually she doesn't, and Honky Tonk Man just pushes her down. I mean, really hard. And if you think about it, back in '87, that's sort of a surprising moment that anybody would do that to a woman, especially Elizabeth. And if you notice, and I can even show you here on the cover of the tape, there's supposed to be a strap right there. It gets broken because of that one push. So Elizabeth goes to the back. And then eventually, Honky Tonk Man hits Randy Savage over the head with the guitar. Well, Elizabeth is coming back, and she's got Hulk Hogan with her. So Hogan sees what's happening. He runs down to the ring. It starts as a 3-on-1 beatdown, but Hogan manages to get back up. Savage gets back up. They clear the ring, and then they bump into each other, and it looks like they're about ready to fight. And then, they see Elizabeth, and Elizabeth's like, no. And Savage extends the hand in a token of friendship. And I love the way McMahon built this moment of, this could be the meeting. It's the meeting of the madness and the mania. And they shake hands, and, and McMahon's going crazy. He's like, this is one of the biggest moments in the history of sports. The meeting of the madness and the mania. He's overhyping it. And then we cut back, and then we come, and Mean Gene talks to them, and that's basically Saturday night's main event, The Greatest Hits. Now, I do have a problem, though. I don't know if they lied or if they edited stuff out because they couldn't put it on the tape. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to read these, but I'll point them out to you anyway. Right here, it says, The Blood Feud, Roddy Piper versus Paul Orndorff. Nope, never happens. The Animal at Play, George Steele enjoys a day at the beach. Nope, never happens. We don't get that. Like I said, I don't know if it's, a mistake on the part of Coliseum Video, or if they ran out of time and couldn't put that on there. So what did I think about this tape overall? It's going to get a little bit of help because it is Saturday night's main event. However, some of these matches probably should not have been on this tape. Bigelow and Hercules probably should not have been on this tape. The tag match probably should not have been on this tape. I like that the Steel Cage match is on, and I like Savage and Honky Tonk Man is on, and I like Savage and Steel on this. I think if they had changed a couple more, I don't know which one I would have picked, but if they had changed a couple more, I think the tape would have been a little bit more better. So, overall, I'm going to put it right in the middle. It's like, it's not good, but it's not bad, is the best way to describe it. And for this being Saturday night's main event, a show that 30 years later, or almost 30 years later, wrestling fans are still talking about to this day, this is a little bit of a disappointment. Obviously, the 3-disc set that they came out with many years ago is a big help. But further down the line, there is going to be a second Saturday night's main event tape, and we'll see if that one is better than the first one. Remains to be seen. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Retro Review. Please stay tuned to this YouTube page for an upcoming Viewer's Choice, and it's going to be a special one. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I am Wrestling Man. This has been a Retro Review.